Hey guys, it's Carrie from Lovely Etc. and today I'm going to show you how to flock your own Christmas tree. I love a beautiful snowy flocked Christmas tree, and I flocked my first tree more than 6 years ago and it's still going strong. I have added a little more flocking a few times, but it still looks beautiful. And since then I've flocked wreaths, garlands, branches, mini trees, big trees, all kinds of trees. So I am going to show you today exactly how to do it. So flocking your own Christmas tree is actually super duper easy. Anybody can do it. The secret to getting really beautiful Christmas tree that looks just like the ones that you can buy is you have to use real flocking powder. I have been using Snow Flock, which you can buy on Amazon. It is the real deal and it looks beautiful. So I'll put a link to that in the video description. Other than that, it's really simple. Okay, so the first thing you're going to need to do is make sure that you cover the area where you're going to be working, the floor or the table, with some sort of drop cloth or tarp or something, because flocking is pretty messy and you're going to be making a big mess as you're flocking, and it's just going to be so much easier to clean up if you cover everything. You need a Christmas tree. I'm flocking a mini Christmas tree and it has a cute little burlap sack at the bottom, and I didn't really want to get that all flocked, so I just covered it up with a plastic bag to protect it. You need your flocking. Like I said, you need the real stuff. So I'm using Snow Flock today. This is a flocking powder, and this is kind of what it looks like. It comes in a bag to keep it contained. I've obviously already used a lot of this particular bag. You need a spray bottle of water, and you need a strainer. And once you have all those things, you're ready to start. If you're flocking an artificial tree, make sure you get the branches all fluffed out before you start. And then you're just going to get your spray bottle, spray your tree. When you're flocking, you're going to work from the top of your tree down, because you're trying to make it look like natural snow on your tree, and that's how snow falls. So I'm spraying from the top down. Just doing one section at a time. Get some of your flock into your sifter, and then you're just going to sift it down onto your Christmas tree. If you're working outside, it's best if it's not a windy day. It's a little breezy. I'm on my porch. This is blowing some of the flock around, so make sure to think of that. I'm going to add more water. And once you flock a section, spray it with water again. The water is what activates the adhesive that is in the flocking powder and makes it really stick to your tree. So it's important to make sure it gets nice and wet. Not soaking wet and dripping, just nice and damp. As you're flocking your tree, mostly you want to hold the sifter above the tree and let the snow fall down, like real snow. But if you want it to be a little more snowy and the snow is having, or the flocking is having a really hard time reaching the inside, for a little thing like this, you can just kind of tilt it to the side and add some more. But for a larger tree, obviously you're not going to want to do that, but you can just move some branches aside and fill in some of those more interior areas. If it's not snowy enough and you want to add some more, just keep adding. And then move on to the next section. Okay, and once you're happy with how much flocking it has, just give the whole thing one last good spray. Okay, so here is my mini Christmas tree flocked with Snow Flock powder. And once it's all flocked, you need to let it dry for at least 12 hours, 24 is better, until it's fully dry before you try to move it around and decorate it. Alright, so let me answer a couple of the questions I've been asked a lot. First of all, can you flock a tree that is pre-lit? You most definitely can. I have flocked pre-lit trees and trees that were unlit, and either way works great. The flocking will get on the lights, especially on the cords, but the lights are still just as bright and beautiful as ever. So it really doesn't affect it, and it looks beautiful having your flock tree all lit up. People want to know, can you flock real trees? Can you flock artificial trees? Yes, you can flock pretty much anything. Wreaths, garlands, I have flocked just branches that I cut off of bushes in my yard, and it looked beautiful. pretty much any kind of evergreen situation can be flocked. The biggest question that I've been asked the most is how messy is it really to have a flocked tree? So if you've ever bought a flocked tree from the store that was already flocked, you'll know that most of them are somewhat messy to begin with, whether you do it yourself or not. Some of the flocking is going to come off just because that's how life works. So it's the same with a DIY tree. When you're flocking, it's a very messy process. That's what I said. You gotta make sure you cover everything. You're gonna get flocking kind of all over that area. But even afterwards, when the whole process is finished and your tree's done, it's still gonna be messy somewhat. Whenever you are pulling your tree out to put it in place, putting lights on it, decorating it, moving it around, some of the flocking is gonna come off and land in your floor. And for some people, that's a major deterrent. For others, it's no big deal. It doesn't bother me too much because I love a flocked tree so much, I just vacuum it up. Once your tree is all decorated and it's in place, if you're not messing with it, it's not going to fall off anymore. It's going to be fine. So primarily, it's going to be a mess when you're setting it up and when you're taking it down. And it can get pretty messy. But the rest of the time, it's fine. Another question that I get asked a lot is, how much flocking do you need to buy? Usually it comes in 2-pound boxes or 5-pound boxes. I have seen even 25-pound boxes, which is a lot of flocking. But in general, a 5-pound box is going to be plenty to do a full-size 7.5, 8-foot tree. If you are flocking it really, really heavily, like almost all white, not a lot of green showing, you may use the whole box, but most likely you're going to have a little bit left over. You could use a 2-pound box if you're flocking a full-size tree pretty lightly, or a 2-pound box is really great for doing several wreaths, garlands, and mini trees. As far as where to get flocking, you pretty much need to order it online. Amazon has it, and there are also some individual websites that sell it. But I've never, so far, this could change, but so far I haven't been able to find real flocking powder anywhere in stores. Only the spray snow, which is not what you want to get for this. It is not the same at all. Overall, I am super happy with my flocked Christmas tree. Both my main 7.5-foot tree that I put up every year and this little guy, they both just look beautiful. So I think it's well worth doing, and it's one of my favorite Christmas DIYs I have ever done. If you haven't yet, I'd love for you to subscribe to my channel, Lovely Etc., where I share lots of inexpensive DIY projects to create a home that you love.